Hi everyone, this is Mrs. Snobeck. Today we are going to do a quick review of Unit 8 and get you ready to take the quiz. So remember a parallelogram. A parallelogram is a quadrilateral that has two pairs of parallel sides. It looks kind of like that. And to find the area of a parallelogram, it is base times height. And remember that your height has to be perpendicular to your base. So this could be your height and this could be your base. This formula also works for rectangles and squares because they are also parallelograms. Next we have triangle. And of course you remember what a triangle looks like. And the formula for area of a triangle is base times height divided by 2. Again, if this is your base, your height has to be perpendicular to your base. Next, let's talk about trapezoid. Trapezoid is a quadrilateral with one pair of parallel sides. The formula for area is height times base 1 plus base 2 divided by 2. Next we have rhombus. And a rhombus is like a square that's tilting over. All four sides are congruent, but the angles are not 90 degrees. To find the area, you're going to take one diagonal times the other diagonal and divide by 2. So the formula goes area equals diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2. A kite, it looks like an actual kite that you might fly. It has two pairs of consecutive congruent sides. And again, to find the area, it's the same as the rhombus. You find one diagonal times the other diagonal and divide by 2. So area of a kite is diagonal 1 times diagonal 2 divided by 2. Next we have a circle, and remember for a circle you're just going to take pi r squared, and this is your r. Radius goes halfway across the circle. And then finally for the last one, if you have a sector of a circle, that's like a piece of the circle, like a piece of pi. And so for that one, the area is x over 360 pi r squared, and remember x is your degree, your angle. Alright, go ahead and pause the video and try to list the 6 steps for finding the areas of a regular polygon. That's like a pentagon, hexagon, heptagon, octagon. Remember, regular means all the sides are the same length, all the angles are the same size. So pause the video and try to write down the 6 steps. Step 1 is you find a central angle. And so normally you have to do 360 divided by the number of sides. Step number 2 is you're going to take half of the central angle. So whatever your answer was in number 1, you take half of that central angle. Step number 3 is you find the base of a triangle. Okay, so remember, if you have a polygon, what you're going to do is you're going to find the area of one triangle in that polygon and then multiply by however many sides the polygon has. And so the base of the triangle would be this right here. Step number 4 is that you then try to find the height of the triangle. And the height of your triangle is going to be this blue dotted line. That's going to be the height of your triangle, and it has to be perpendicular to the base. Now, one thing to remember for these two, you likely will have to use SOHCAHTOA. All right, step 5 is once you know the base and the height of your triangle, you find the area of the triangle, which is going to be base times height divided by 2. And then lastly, once you know the area of one triangle, you multiply that answer by the number of sides. That would give you the total area of your polygon. So let's get started reviewing. It says find the following, use the shaded triangle. So we're going to be using the green triangle. Now the green triangle is kind of a strange height. It goes basically between those two blue lines. So the height actually ends up being the 21 meters. The base of the shaded triangle, however, is only the 18 meters. So take a look at that. The height is actually outside of the triangle. Now, to find the perimeter of the shaded triangle, we're going to need to find a missing side. So you can see, we know two of the sides of the triangle. We know this side right here is 31. We know this side right here is 18, but we need to find this third side. And so what we're going to do is we're going to use, let's see if I outline it in black. We're going to use this triangle over here on the left, and we're going to do a little Pythagorean theorem. We're going to do 21 squared plus 17 squared equals c squared. So grab your calculators, and 21 squared is 441, and 17 squared is 289. Add that together, and you get 730 equals c squared. Take the square root, and I get 27.02. 27.02 is the third side of our triangle. So this side right here. So now to get the perimeter around the shaded triangle, we're going to add the 31 plus the 18 plus the 27.02. And all together I get 76.02 meters. And then lastly, we need to find the area. Now remember, it's a it's a triangle. So we're going to do base times height, divide by 2. Well, we already know the base is 18, the height is 21, and then divide by 2. When we multiply that, we get 189. And remember to label it. It's an area, so it's meters squared. So for the rest of these review questions, I recommend pausing the video before each question, trying them, and then watching me work out the problem afterwards and see if you get it right. So go ahead and pause the video and try this one. All right, we have a parallelogram. We know our formula is base times height. I can see the base is 12 meters, but I also see I don't know the height. So I need to find it, and I'm going to choose to use this red triangle over here, and I'm going to do SOHCAHTOA. I could also use the 30, 60, 90 rules of a triangle, but I'll choose SOHCAHTOA. So the H is opposite, the height is opposite of our angle, and the 7 is the hypotenuse. So we're going to use SOHCAHTOA. And I need to choose the one with the O and the H, so I'm going to choose SO. So sine of 60 is opposite over hypotenuse. So H over 7, H for height. All right, multiply both sides by 7. And then type it in your calculator, 7 sine 60. And I get the height is 6.06 meters. Great, we have our height, we have our base, we can now find the area. So area is 12 times 6.06. I like to leave that 6.06 number in my calculator and just go times 12 and then hit equals, and it is approximately 75 meters squared. Again, pause the video, give this one a try, and then watch to see if you get it correct. The height of a triangle is 7 more than the base. So we have some kind of a triangle, and the height, which is right in here, is 7 more than the base. So if the base is B, that height is going to be B plus 7. And it says the area of the triangle is 9. Find the base and the height of the triangle. Okay, so I see some key words. I see area and I see triangle, and that tells me what my formula is. Area is base times height divided by 2. I plug in everything I know. The area is 9, so I can plug that in for the A. I don't know the base, so I'll call it B. The height is B plus 7, and then divide by 2. What I like to do is get rid of that 2 first. So I multiply by 2 on each side. That will cancel out that 2 on the bottom of the fraction. Then we wind up with 18 equals B times B plus 7. What you really want to do now is multiply that b throughout, kind of distribute it through that parenthesis. So 18 is b squared plus 7b. Uh-oh, we have a b squared. This is going to be a little involved. Minus your 18. Get a 0 on one side, and you have b squared plus 7b minus 18. And this is where it gets complicated, folks. You might not have done this for a while. You have to figure out what two numbers multiply to be negative 18, but add to be 7. Multiply to be negative 18, add to be 7. This is called factoring. And so when you think about the numbers, it's probably going to be a 9 and a 2. And you have to figure out which one would be positive, which one would be negative. Well, 9 times negative 2 is negative 18, and 9 plus negative 2 is 7. So then remember when you write your answers, it's like b plus 9 and b minus 2. So the positive 9 goes in one of the parentheses and the negative 2 goes in the other parenthesis. It's kind of like you're unfoiling. Remember, it's called factoring. But then your answers are the opposites of those. Your answers are b would equal negative 9 and b would equal positive 2. Now, do both of these make sense for the length of the base of a triangle? I would say no. You're never going to have a negative base. So in this case, our base of our triangle is going to be 2. And then to get your height, just take your 2 and plug it in. So the height is going to be 2 plus 7, which is 9. And it's inches and inches. That was a tricky one, definitely with the factoring in there. Go ahead and pause the video and give this one a try. All right, we'll be finding the area of one slice of this pizza. Now I counted, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pieces of pizza. And we're assuming all 8 pieces are the same size, and we're finding the area of one of the pieces. That would be the sector formula, so x over 360 pi r squared. So think about 360 degrees being divided into 8 slices. So 360 divided by 8 is 45. So that's going to be our x. Now our radius, if you read up in the question here, it has a radius of 8. And so if we plug in our numbers, it's going to be 45 out of 360 pi 8 squared. Type it in your calculator. You're likely going to need parentheses around the 45 divided by 360, and then it's pi, and then it's 8 squared. And I got approximately 25.13, and it would be inches squared for the area of one slice of the pizza. This is one of those long ones. It says find the area of this regular octagon. So you're going to have to go through the 6 steps. Go ahead, pause the video, see if you can get all the way through this one. Step number 1, find a central angle. It's an octagon, so you'll divide by 8. 360 divided by 8 is 45. So the thing you just found was that this angle right here is 45. Step number 2 is you cut the central angle in half. Half of 45 is 22.5. So, redraw that a little bit. So in other words, if this was 45, then each of these separately is 22.5. The reason we do that is because then we can have a right triangle. So you can see like here, for instance, now I can work with a right triangle. And once we get that far, it's going to be a little easier to work with the numbers. So next, step 3 is find the base of the triangle. Guess what? It's given to us. It's 10 inches. I love when that happens. Yes. Bonus. Next, step number 4 is we need to find the height of the triangle. Not so easy. Okay, so the height of the triangle is this blue line right there. So what I'm going to do is actually take this right triangle and just redraw it down here. This is a right angle. This is 22.5. And the whole base was 10, but this part is half of 10, so it's 5. Next, I'm going to use SOHCAHTOA. So if I look at the angle that I'm given this angle right here. The 5 is opposite of that. The height that I'm trying to find is over here, and that is adjacent to my angle. It's right next to the angle. Opposite and adjacent is going to be part of TOA. So I'm going to use tangent 22.5 equals 5 over h. 5 over the height. Multiply both by h, whatever's on the bottom of that fraction. And then you have h times tangent 22.5. So then you're going to have to divide by tangent 22.5 on both sides. They're going to cancel on the left, and you'll have h is 5 divided by tangent 22.5. Type that in. Oops. 5 divided by tangent 22.5. I got 12.07. Once you have the height of your triangle, you now have the base and the height of your triangle. So step number 5 is you're going to find the area of your triangle, which is base times height divided by 2. So base was 10, height is 12.07, divide by 2. 60.36. Now 60.36 is the area of this green triangle. It's an octagon. It's going to take 8 of those triangles. And so our last step, step number 6, is we are going to take 60.36 and we're going to multiply by 8 because it will take 8 triangles to fill the octagon, which is 482.84, and it's inches squared. Those are hard. I mean, keep practicing those. There's just so many steps. You can do it. Keep at it. Last question. Go ahead and take a minute and try this one and then unpause when you're ready. So what I usually do is, for a word problem, I read it, of course. Sophie wants to hire someone to sand and refinish her office floor. It's a rectangular room, measures 180 inches by 144 inches. Then I like to draw a picture. So it sounds like it's rectangular, and it's 180 inches by 144 inches. And how much will it cost to get this done if it's estimated to cost $9 per square foot? I see a problem here. The price is in square feet, but the measurements are in inches. And so to start out, we need to convert. And what I like to do is convert right at the start of the problem. And so if you think about there's 12 inches in a foot, what I do is 180 divided by 12. So 180 divided by 12 is 15. So this is really 15 feet. And 144 divided by 12 is 12. So this is really 12 feet. So what I would do is just find the area in square feet. It's a rectangle, so it's going to be base times height. So it's 15 by 12. And if you multiply 15 times 12, you get 180 square feet. Well, that's the area, but we need to know how much it costs, and it costs $9 per square foot. So our last step is we just take 180 times 9, which is $1,620. So that wraps it up, you guys. Will you guys try Worksheet Unit 8 review? If you have questions, let me know. Have a good day.